What's up, guys? Not Doug Polk here. If you're like me, you're already missing that sweet 200-400 cash game action from the Doug Polk vs. Daniel Negreanu grudge match. So, today we're going to revisit the 10 biggest pots that Doug won throughout the entire course of the challenge. And this list includes more than just nasty coolers. In fact, if you're one of the people who think Negreanu never bluffs, you're in for a real surprise when you see some of these hands. But before we dive into hand number 10, I want to quickly announce that the PLO Launchpad training course just came out on upswingpoker.com. If you want to quickly become a winner at the lucrative game of Pot Limit Omaha, the Launchpad was made for you. The course includes 8+ hours of content and costs only $99 for lifetime access to the material. The Launchpad was made so any poker player could greatly improve their skills, even if you're completely new to PLO. All you need to know are the rules of the game. Get the course by this Friday at midnight, I believe that's tonight if you're watching this on Friday, to receive a special bonus. That special bonus is a 1-month subscription to the PLO Matrix preflop tool, a revolutionary, amazing preflop tool for Pot Limit Omaha. You're going to get that for $1 for a 1-month subscription. Really too much value to miss out on. Definitely do not sleep this. Click the link in the description or head over to upswingpoker.com to learn more about the course and sign up. Now, let's get into the hands.
Let's see if Daniel picks up on that. And Daniel again using his 40% size. And again, I'm not criticizing Daniel Negreanu, but I'm personally not a fan of it. He'll have his reasons though. If Doug calls, we'll have approximately 46k going to the river.
He does.
Does call. Flush draw gets there. Ace king gets there. If Doug has checked back the flop and called the turn. Ace 4 and 6-4 got there on the turn, of course. Turn spades miss. We see a shove from Daniel. I think we're going to see a call here from Doug.
Yeah, aces. Ooh, interesting merge from Daniel there. That is, I would never, ever, ever expect to see a queen. It's just like, what are we doing here? I always imagine like it must be like quite the like shots fired when you're the one you're like 5 models go in for like the photos for the chips and then you're the one who gets put on the $1 chip.
Oh, brutal for sure.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's like being a calendar and you get the crappy month or the shortest month. They're like, yeah, we don't want to look at you for more than 28 days.
Large c-bet from Daniel on this dynamic board in a 3-bet pot, 6,400 and 8,500. Large bet from Daniel, as you'd expect to see on the super draw heavy turn. A lot of rivers are going to change the board texture here, so it makes sense to put in a large bet. Ace on the river. Interesting card. Would be interesting to see what Daniel does here with a hand like pocket queens or pocket jacks if he does decide to jam them for value. I'm not sure what the correct play would be with such a hand. Might depend on your blockers. If you block the flush draw, that might jam if you check. Likely not hands he's considering folding if Doug jams here, though. See what Doug decides to do. He's got a lot of misdraws in his range. He's also got some hands like ace 9, ace 6.
Does he have any flush draws containing nut flush draws that now have an ace, or would that have gotten in earlier?
No, I think, yeah, definitely has some. Ace high flush draws are like always interesting because you have so many of them. You have like ace 2 all the way up to like ace, well, ace queen in this case because he'd 4-bet ace king. So like he has like so many suited aces, like so many to choose from that he's able to put them into each range. So like he wouldn't necessarily raise all of them on the flop. He might raise some of them. You know, some of them are backdoor draws that he turned and then he just calls there. So yeah.
And also with heads up, it's so interesting. He's in position, so like sometimes ace high is just good. I guess there's no rush to get your whole stack in.
Right. Yeah, for sure. There's certainly situations where like raising and getting in is really good, but you're not just like doing it with every single ace high flush draw or whatever. Got a lot of people rooting for folds in the chat, thinking Doug's bluffing. Drop a fold in the chat if you think, or if you want this fold to happen. Just say call in plain text if you want to call and you think Doug's value betting. Doug is value betting with the ace high flush draw. Nice call there, Jamie. You were right.
Nice hand, Douglas. Finally on that table, he gets to win a big pot.
So not, athletes as we've seen both of these. I mean, Polk's got, they're both actually, DNegs might be on steroids. Like, I mean, he got diesel during the quarantine, but I feel you. That took an ugly turn, man. I mean, I've always liked Norman. I don't know, but
Norman's a nice dude, just good heart, nice guy. And yeah, he does pick little fights with people, but whatever. Oh, that's a full house.
Oh man.
Oh, Doug's the best. I thought it was cute though that Lon McCarran stuck up for his buddy Norm. I think that
it was cute, but I didn't think Brent and Jeff were out of line letting him just say his piece and just, it is what it is. Those words are coming from Daniel. Like, it's not always their job to monitor opinions, but yes, Lon having Norm's back was cool. Everybody's doing their thing, everybody's like, existing kind of, but like Doug is existing right now.
Listen, if anyone comes after you, we've commentated together about 2 times. I'm ride or die now, and don't worry, I got you.
Likewise, Amy, I appreciate that. I got your back too.
Sweet. I just extended that because like no one's coming after you ever, and there's a good chance I get in fights. So
they will. They
are.
Deal
that you made.
The other shoe is going to drop, and it's going to be bad, man. I can feel it. I've done some bad things in my day, man.
Oh man, nice. How about that's what we'll do? And the next time there's a lull in the action, we'll both just say the most terrible things we've ever done.
Might need to sip a little cocktail for that, but I'm down. Okay. I mean, this might get called. Big overbet here. Targeting a 7, targeting a flush, targeting a queen with a heart, a queen without a heart. I don't know about that call. It's weird. It's weird because some of his bluffs are. I'm not finding too many 1 heart bluff hands there. He has them though, but yeah.
Doug's running like 8 buy-ins or like 6 to 8 buy-ins above EV. They're not like official calculations, just someone using a spreadsheet, but I'm sure he's close. So if you factor that in, Doug's only winning by like 8 to 10 big blinds per 100. Like that's like that's a handy a handy amount of a win rate, but it's not like getting demolished. It's not 25 absolutely. Big blinds per 100. So like exactly. I think there's a good chance Daniel feels like it's a competitive match, and he said so. He said that I think I've kept it competitive. That's more of a subjective thought. Yeah. Not everyone will agree, but like I mean.
No, I completely agree. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right with that. As we see, a 3-bet and C-bet from Daniel Negreanu.
Does get called. King on the turn. No
really
backdoor flush draws.
I expect he's going to bet this really high frequency.
Doug is definitely going to have some king high floats like the king jack, king 10, etc. But a lot of the rest of his range is a bit in the cage right now, and like 6s or 5, tough spot.
He also has like king 6 of hearts, etc., which have many backdoors. So whilst it is a pretty good turn for Daniel, it's not as good as it would be in like a 6 max environment, for example. Because as we touched on earlier, Doug has a lot of king X in his range. Sorry, the non-preflop aggressor has a lot of king X in their range. As we see, a bet on a turn and a call. That is a dicey river. Some jack 9 and ace jacks getting there. Let's see what happens. Quick all in from Daniel. Fades the snap call. Let's see what Doug decides to do.
It's about a 1 point.
Whoa! We see the call from Doug.
Let's give it up for Daniel on that no equity bluff though. Like that is that is a ballsy bluff. Like that is I mean, you got to be doing that sometimes. I think in the live session. Ooh, and we have that's a well played hand. Clearly well played hand by both players for sure. Doug's flop bet is pretty interesting. I'm not sure everyone would do that, but I how bad can it be to bet middle pair in an open ender?
You probably want to. I think you want to have a decent amount of aggression in that spot too. When opponent has been playing 3 bets with a high c-bet frequency, even on lockdown board textures, Doug probably just is trying to meet X frequency of betting, and that's probably just a mix of a bet.
Yeah, so anyway, about Daniel being tricky, as we see Doug's c-bet in a 3-bet pocket, called here on 885. He 3-bet in the live portion of the match. He 3-bet 10-6 suited, got the king 6-6 rainbow board. He c-bet the flop for a 5th pot and then checked the turn, which is a very cagey check on the turn, and ended up getting Doug to blast off, so it worked out perfectly for him. So Doug definitely has to look out for some, I wouldn't necessarily say unorthodox traps, but maybe unorthodox traps throughout this challenge.
I'm gonna cut you off real quick. Huge bet here. We have a 3-bet pot. Doug bets flop, bets pot on the turn. Doug is gonna have all the overpairs. So he has all the aces, kings, queens, jacks, tens. Daniel has a little less of them. I don't know who has more 8s. Brady, you'd know better than me. But the full pot on the turn sets up a river ship size, which Doug goes for. No snap call.
No snap, so no quads.
No quads.
Daniel certainly has the advantage in 8s here, but
Doug just has. Daniel called the turn with the 7-9 suited, no pair, inside straight draw, binks the full house on the river.
I am baffled by that turn call. I'm really, really surprised to see that from Daniel.
And he was contacted by, I want to say, Fintan Gavin or someone like that, who had like party poker / Rosvedov connections. And at the time, the WSOP Europe was coming to Rosvedov, and they wanted to have a kind of UK-based commentary team. So I think Fintan was part of it. He was an Irish guy, and they wanted like either 1 or 2 English guys. I think that them being English was important to have the good English-speaking voices or whatever. And Dara was asked, is there anyone you would recommend? And Dara had obviously worked with Henry on those 1 or 2 Unibet Opens that he'd been part of at that time. And he said to Fintan, I'll get this guy in. He's a really good young up-and-comer. And Fintan was like, okay, great, yeah, I'll take your recommendation, send him over. And Henry went and did a Rosvedov gig for the World Series of Poker Europe. Rosvedov ended up keeping him. I think Leon ended up making him the sort of in-house commentator for ages. So then...
Oh my days!
Oh my God! You gotta be kidding me!
All in on a call on the left-hand side. Daniel shipping it in.
Spot. Big swing around.
With a pair and a gut shot. Doug flopping the nuts. 133k pot going the way of Doug. Daniel turning some boat outs but couldn't get there.
Well, session 2, because session 1 was played live. Since session 2, we've been tracking all of the pots that involve someone getting stacked, or any pot above 80k. And if you go over to my Twitter, twitter.com/mbradycf or @mbradycf, my pinned tweet is a link to a spreadsheet that has all of that data. So then you can kind of just browse all the hands yourself. You can make a copy of it and sort the data however you want, mess with it, see how the big hands have shaken out. Some interesting stuff, so go check that out. @mbradycf is my Twitter. Shoot me a follow while you're there too, why not? If you want. Check raise from DNegs on the right versus this double barrel, and he does get called. Ace on the river. $11K bet from Daniel, 12K more like. See what Doug decides to do. Could see some shoving from Doug here. He's the player who can have kings and aces. Even 6s is a hand that Doug can have that Daniel really can't, and he is all in. And there it is. There's the 6s.
Wow!
Cooler City. That is literally the best hand Daniel can have there. Literally. The top of his range.
Fucking thing sucks. You know, you just hate to see it. But we could still win this hand, for sure. For sure. On the right, we are going to make the call versus a 3-bet. And check. We do face a large bet on the flop. We are deep here, guys. This is a 3-bet pot. We're deep. We have position. We're going to call and play some turns. Big pot could develop here. Big pot. Turns a 6. 5-3 got there. Checks it over. I think this is a spot we're going to want to bet. I think we're gonna have to go with a bit of a bigger size than I might be normally inclined to use. We are deep here. Gonna go ahead and bet. Oh, you guys have been able to see the left table for a while, haven't you? Oops. Negreanu in the tank. He goes on. We have 5-3! 5-3! Stacked! Stacked! Oh, yeah! Stick and move! Stick and move! Gotta work on your footwork, guys. It's all in the footwork. It's all in the footwork. Okay, hold on. Let me bet this turn. All in the footwork. Be light on your feet. Nimble.
Oh, that's hard. What a nasty spot to be in, is Daniel. It's just rude.
Does get the fold. Hero Value in the chat says something that I've been, I can empathize quite a bit with in this challenge. I do enjoy dodging the DNegs snap, yes. I can always breathe a quick sigh of relief whenever Doug rips it in for an absurd amount and Daniel does not snap call. It feels a little better than when it's just snapped off and Doug just looks silly with his bluff, just sitting there with his sausage. LOL, I'm not going to read that name because it's a ridiculous name, but Josh, do you play at Chasers?
I play at Chasers.
Nice.
Yes. Yeah, that's me. You probably seen me or heard me. Yeah.
34K in the middle on the right.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
3-bet pot. I believe Daniel just double-barreled here.
Okay.
Yeah, confirmed. And now he's checking the river.
Okay. Not a fun spot to be in if you have missed draws here because Daniel's going to have a lot of check calls here.
Well, it's going to be making it a little tough to check call.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense because you've got a bunch of missed draws here, but you know you can have an 8 and you can have some King X for value and.
Interesting spot here.
I might even do this with King Queen would be reasonable for value here too.
Oh, King Queen makes a lot of sense. I was wondering. I feel like King Jack. I mean, you're not gonna go for this. It's basically like. I mean, trying to bluff them off the chop then? Yeah, I mean...
No, Well, I mean... Ace-Queen has to be thinking about what they're doing, and other hands that contain a queen, I mean, I don't think he just... I mean, there's other hands that Daniel can have here.
Call from Daniel the Queen. You were very much right. Doug wins a 170k pot with an 8 there. Sick stuff. Yeah, nice call, dude.
Straight into the schoolyard put downs to anyone who crosses him. So good. Love it.
I know. It's I'm one step away from whipping out some your mum jokes to some of these guys. But we shall refrain, obviously. Big Sailor says, so you're telling me that board texture, stat depth, and ranges affect bet sizing? I'm learning. Yes, mate. You can PM me for some coaching if you want. Just kidding, obviously. David, would you like to hear a very fun story about Big Stealer while we have a slight lull in the action?
Yes, always.
So 3 days ago, the 18th of January, it was my birthday, right?
Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you very much. So it's like 10 a.m. My girlfriend's pottering around. She's getting ready for work. I'm on the grind, and we went thin versus Big Stealer. Like we shoved the river with pocket 8s on 6, 6, 4, 6, 9. Okay. And Big Stealer. Spoiler alert! Hold that thought. We've got a big pot developing on the left-hand side. Big bet from Doug. 3-bet pre.
So Doug
small
going big sizing
bet.
on the turn now. Of course, these guys playing really deep on this table, so he can really turn the screw across 2 Street. Oh wow! And Daniel's on it, and it's a snap. Oh, would you believe it, Doug, with the turn set? Daniel with the pair and flush draw. Not a record. Not a record.
All right. Hopefully you enjoyed this countdown. If you did, you should know we'll be putting out more highlight reels just like this over on the Upswing Poker YouTube channel, so head over to that channel and click subscribe so you get notified when those come out. We plan to do some similar highlight reels, you know, maybe Daniel Negreanu's biggest pots, maybe the biggest bluffs, maybe the biggest overbets, bunch of different reels like that. So if you have a suggestion for what type of highlight reel you'd like to see on that channel, let us know in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.